All right, y'all. I'm back in the building for another one. As you can see here, it says social media users sound off about Megan Rapinoe promoting cannabis products during Olympics after Sha'carri Richardson's suspension. As you know, if you don't know, Sha'carri Richardson was, disqualified basically from um, the Olympics because she tested positive for marijuana, right? So cut to now. Let me see if I can read this. Let me see if there's anything on here. Okay, so it says cannabis takes the world stage at the Tokyo Olympics. So for the first time in the Olympics 125 years modern history, elite athletes are being open about their use of cannabis products to prepare them for the world's biggest stage in sports. Leading the charge is Olympic gold medalist and U.S. soccer women's national team star Megan Rapinoe, who incorporates CBD into her training routine using products from Mendy, a company founded by her sister Rachel Rapinoe and Brett Schwager. Let me continue reading. All right, so basically, Megan Rapinoe is promoting CBD. One might say, "Oh, hey, bro, marijuana and CBD are two different types of weed. One is THC and the other one is CBD." But I mean, at the end of this all, it all comes back down to being a stimulant. And if I'm to be correct, what what got Sha'carri like disqualified from the Olympics or qualifying for the Olympics is her use of a stimulant and or substance. Um isn't CBD a substance? Isn't CBD a stimulant used to get you high? So why is it okay for Megan Rapinoe to do it? Why is it okay for her to promote? Like, I'm not saying that Sha'carri Richardson was promoting weed or anything like that, but I mean, weed is legal here in America. I mean, regardless of whether it's legal anywhere else, I mean, they could have let that slide, bro. I mean, she made Sha'carri made a mistake. They could have let her slide on that. But to go rub it, basically rub it in her face by allowing Megan Rapinoe to promote CBD products, it's just like that looks like an insult. That looks petty. It looks like aha, she can do this and you can't. It doesn't look it doesn't look good on the Olympic committee or whoever the committee of people are that what I'm saying, run or sanction the Olympics. It doesn't look good on them. It doesn't look good on them. It makes them look like some what's the word? It makes them look like hypocrites. There we go. It makes them look like hypocrites. It makes them look like it's okay for her to do it because and it would be hard not to use race as a factor, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. It's because she's white and Sha'carri Richardson is black that it's like she can get away with it and Sha'carri Richardson can't. That's what it looks like. It looks like that, and it looks like some hypocritical type of deal going on. It doesn't look right. It makes the Olympics look like an organization that doesn't know how to make decisions or just treats people a certain different people a certain way. You know. And you can take that however you want to take that, but I mean, I'm just out from the outside looking in. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. A Twitter user said white supremacy is banning Sha'carri for smoking weed, while Megan Rapinoe gets praise for her use of CBD, highly reminiscent of how crack cocaine is indefinitely more heavily criminalized than powder cocaine to ensure the disproportionate incarceration of black people. Wow. Mm. That's so that's an examination there. But I'm definitely with you on the race thing. It's definitely a race thing here. It's definitely a race thing. If Sha'carri Richardson was white, she probably wouldn't have got as much scrutiny as she got for testing positive for smoking weed or whatever. Another Twitter user says Sha'carri gets disqualified, but Rapinoe gets amplified. THC and CBD come from the same plant exactly. Reminds me of how black people were punished 100 to 1 for crack versus cocaine. Gotta love white privilege and institutionalized racism. It doesn't change. It doesn't change. This type of treatment doesn't just it has never disappeared. It's never disappeared. It's still here. It's still here in certain in certain spaces like sports. It's definitely here. Oh, so now I think I understand what they're saying about the crack versus cocaine thing. Like I guess it was a thing back in the 80s, which people were getting black people were getting locked up more for crack than white people were for cocaine. I understand. Okay, and then another Twitter user says when Sha'carri was punished for violating the Olympics' archaic THC rules, so many accused us of race baiting. Our opposition to these rules, neutral as they may appear, comes from lived experiences. White people live in a different world, paid to promote THC at the same Olympics. Exactly. It just looks so hypocritical. Looks hypocritical, and the Olympics they're okay with it. They're okay with Megan Rapinoe promoting CBD. Just doesn't it just looks hypocritical at the end of the day. They disqualified Sha'carri Richardson for testing positive for marijuana, but have these two white women promoting it and talking about using it to help them as athletes. The Olympics is racist and sexist towards black women. They're disgusting. I mean, the Olympics have never not been racist, to be honest with you. They always have been racist. Like, I mean, we can go, there's a timeline and we can go back. We can definitely go back and see in different time periods where the Olympics were racist and it was just in plain sight. And it's like we as the public can't really do nothing about it, you know? Another Twitter user said, "See this right here. Sha'carri couldn't smoke due to a traumatizing loss, but these white athletes get to be the new face of cannabis at the Tokyo Olympics. The hypocrisy is blatant. Just like I said, hypocrisy. Yeah, it's hypocrisy, man." And this last one says, "See, this is so frustrating. Everyone should have been protesting after what happened to Sha'carri. We should have been clearly stating we wouldn't be watching after they banned black women for existing with curly hair, but racism is never enough to protest for something else." Now, see, there have been some weird things that have happened, thus far with like black athletes, and them banning swim cap what is it? Is it swim caps? Basically, they or I'm not exactly sure if it was like they banned uh w- black women from wearing some type of like cap on their head, or something like that. But there have been some things that have happened. But like I said, you can go back in time. The Olympics have always been racist. They have never. The Olympics have never hidden whatever agenda they have to be like prejudice or racist or whatever. It's not like it's not like it ever left or anything like that. It's always been there. It's always been there. You know what I'm saying? Selectivism, um, privilege to a certain race. It's all there. It's always been there. You know. And then which what this Twitter user was saying about black people protesting. To be honest with you, there's nothing. The Olympics is not something that I don't think the Olympics is something that black people really watch like that in the first place. That much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and this year's Olympics, to tell you the truth, is not something worth watching in the first. It's not enough. uh, with basketball. There's really nothing going on. All of the star players in on the USA basketball team ain't there. Like a bunch of them are not there. Um, you know, USA basketball team is losing to a bunch of just a bunch of teams. Um, what else? I mean, the Olympics is not something we watch. Basically, it's not something that we're just like trying to bogart the TV to watch. Like so, I'm not really with her on the protesting thing because like we can't we don't need to protest if we don't watch the Olympics like that in the first place. The way things are set up now, everybody catches stuff on social media now. So it's not worth it to go and do a protest for something that not all black people watch. Not all black people watch the damn Olympics. It's just being the truth. So what she was saying about for racism is never enough to protest for some of y'all. I mean, like I said, not a lot of black people watch the Olympics anyway. It's just like watching the Oscars. Like it's boring. Like it's like watching baseball. Not a lot of black people watch baseball either. It's like it's boring. Oh, excuse me. It's boring. It's like there's nothing. What am I gaining from watching the Oscars or watching baseball or watching the Olympics? Nothing. It's boring. What am I gonna sit there and what am I gonna sit there and watch somebody do something in a sport that I don't really want to watch. It's like everybody catches everything on social media, so that's the way things work now. So, but yeah, man, at the end of the day, it just ends up making the Olympics and their committee look hypocritical. And like I said, racism has always been around in the Olympics, and they've never done anything to you know call out their own hypocriticalness in the Olympics. So I'm not surprised at all. What do y'all think? What should I review next? And hey, I am out of here. Pay your bills. Pay your bills.